Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lion and Liverbird podcast. This particular episode is Chelsea centric. And of course, Chelsea have been in the US. They've been steamrolling through the Club World Cup, Adim. I don't know what you have to say about that. But we're in the semi-finals. We've made a boatload of money and we have a pretty favorable draw. We are playing Fluminense tomorrow, actually. So today we'll talk about Chelsea's progress in the last two games. We beat Benfica first of all in the round of 16, and then Palmeiras in the quarterfinals. And we'll also talk about some of the transfer dealings that have happened. So Adeem, what do you think? In Chelsea is basically raking in the money in the US right now. What do the other fans think of it?
Oh. So, we've like most of us are not following this Club World Cup. I think it's it's crazy as to how long the football calendar has been this season, or it is becoming now, because we've seen a lot of teams go out for meaningless friendlies after the season. There's no interest, but then obviously that's me being very trivial and saying there's no interest because I'm sure if Liverpool was in the Club World Cup, I would be paying attention to what's going on. I think the only thing that a lot of people have spoken about is the climate in the US, the ticket prices being going up and down like crazy. If Real Madrid are playing, it's high. If some other teams are playing, it's low. And then obviously the sickening injury that happened to Jamal Musiala. Those are the three talking points. But for Chelsea, I think this is great. I think it gives Enzo Maresca time to work with the side a little bit more. We've seen how good Liam Delap has been for you guys, and you guys have basically recouped that Liam Delap money and made a little bit more so you can sign Gittens. You guys have signed Gittens already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this was actually a very good tour for you guys because you've been able to sign two players for free, basically. So I don't think it hurts you guys that much. And then if you guys win it, that's even greater. Like that, you're the first Club World Cup champions, like on the new format, obviously. So I think it's all good for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think a couple of points. Let's talk about the weather first of all. And for the weather, let's discuss Chelsea's round of 16 match against Benfica. The match started, Chelsea was playing well. They dominated, took the lead, and they were 1-0 up. At the 87th minute, a thunderstorm rolled in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the rules in the US is if there is lightning, that happens within like a 20-kilometer radius, you have to stop the game. Everybody has to shelter for an hour. And so essentially the game kept getting postponed because of lightning. And I think 2 hours or 3 hours later, all the players came back and Benfica got a very soft penalty and it went into extra time. Chelsea ended up winning 4-1 because we scored three goals in extra time. Benfica got a red card, but Maresca was furious after the game because the entire game ran like 4.5 hours, right? He's like, this is not football. This is not the way it should be run, right? If a particular location has thunderstorm possibilities, don't schedule it there. But anyways, thankfully there were no major injuries. There were a few minor injuries. Romeo Lavia has been out. Badiashile has been out, and Reece James have been out, but these are the usual suspects from injuries point of view. But basically, we went through, and that set up a very interesting tie in the quarterfinals against the Brazil team Palmeiras. The main kind of talking point in Palmeiras was Chelsea was playing against Estevao Willian, who's Chelsea's starlet. Chelsea had already signed him, and in that agreement, we let him play for Palmeiras in this Club World Cup. Right, he's the next big thing, next Neymar out of Brazil, and that was a pretty good game actually. So we ended up beating Palmeiras 2-1, but Estevao scored a goal. So everything that could go right for Chelsea went right. Another positive aspect of the Palmeiras game was because Romeo Lavia was injured, Caicedo had gotten two yellow cards and was suspended. We finally got to see the full debut of Andre Santos, another one of our prodigious young Brazilian players in the midfield, and he played really well. I think that's going to go a long way this season. Because all of the injury proneness of Lavia, we definitely need him there. Uh, the Palmeiras game was also important because Cole Palmer scored the first goal, a beautiful goal. Him getting back into form. So on our side, Cole Palmer, and on their side, Estevao, who's also he also belongs to us. So overall, a good day for Chelsea. So the other thing in the Palmeiras game was João Pedro, who we swooped in for, and basically signed off of under the noses of Newcastle. He made his debut. which is very interesting. And interesting thing there is Maresca's system is supposed to be super complicated, supposed to take months to understand. But here's a guy who was vacationing in Brazil, who came over, got signed, and immediately played in the next match and did really, really well. So that goes to show, that João Pedro is a really good footballer with, really good intelligence. So overall, everything was positive apart from a few injuries. The next match is tomorrow, which is the semifinals. I think 15 million pounds is at stake if you
Wow.
win that semifinal. Yeah. And it's against Brazilian side again, Fluminense, who beat Al Hilal in the quarterfinal. And the storyline there is going to be guess who's the center back and captain of Fluminense? It's none other than 40-year-old Thiago Silva,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So he's a Chelsea legend at this point, right? He came to Chelsea when he was already old and he put in some really great performances. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. The game is in New Jersey, but if we win that, we basically got the luckiest draw through to the finals ever. Uh, so I don't know. I don't think we're gonna win the championship, obviously, because the other semifinals is the actual, serious kind of bracket, so to speak. The semifinals is gonna be Real Madrid versus PSG, both of whom are playing really well. That's gonna be a great game, actually. So if Chelsea can get past Fluminense, I expect them to lose in the finals, but still making it to the final would itself, I think, earn us 75 million pounds or something. So that's great in terms of that. And the only thing is, I hope we don't have any major injuries. So that was basically a quick recap. And now, kind of coming back to Gittens, you talked about him a little bit, right? So apart from João Pedro, we also completed the signing of Gittens. It was funny because Gittens hadn't been announced yet, but he was wearing like his
Yeah.
Chelsea t-shirt and he was on the pitch with the Chelsea players after Chelsea's win against Palmeiras. So
Oh, God.
subsequent to that, he got announced. And so again, we are basically now becoming ex-Man City youth team plus Brighton team. Chelsea's become that. But I think Gittens is exciting. I don't know, Adim, if you've kind of seen him play. Good, pacey, skillful 1v1 winger with an eye for goal, right? So the team is shaping up. But on the other side, we also need to sell players, right? And we've started off by getting rid of Kepa. Remember
Finally,
the world, yeah, the
finally,
world's
expensive.
most expensive keeper. Yeah, I don't know, that was a pretty nightmarish transfer for us. But guess who took him off our hands? Arsenal, right?
Arsenal are becoming like a retirement home for Chelsea players, man. What is this?
Yeah, basically. But to be honest with you, he's not a bad, second string, second choice goalkeeper because he had a pretty decent tournament in Bournemouth and wishing him the best. Things didn't work out at Chelsea for whatever reason, because I don't think he was an elite goalkeeper. He was a good goalkeeper, but the price tag made things difficult for him. Uh, and Arsenal, talking about Arsenal, there's also talk of another Chelsea player about to join Arsenal or negotiations starting. It's Noni Madueke. I feel a little conflicted about that. Of course, we are overloaded on the right wing with left-footed attackers. We have Neto, we have Madueke, we have Estevao now joining us. We have Giovanni Quenda, who's a Portuguese wonder kid joining us next season. We, of course, have Cole Palmer, who's left-footed. And we also have Kendry Paez. It's an Ecuadorian wonder kid. So somebody has to go, right? And it looks like it's going to be Noni Madueke. The thing with Madueke is interesting, right? His optics seem a little weird, but if you look at his underlying numbers, they are pretty elite, especially in terms of, box penetration. So I think if Arsenal sign him for whatever amount of money, he's going to be a good signing for them. He's very physical. He can score. He's inconsistent, but he's young. So I don't think it's the best thing for Chelsea to do. But at this point of time, having hoarded like, I don't know, truckloads of left-footed right wingers, somebody has to go. And what do you think of the strategy in the name of like Arsenal kind of poaching players who are a little bit more established? Because Arsenal have also gotten Zubimendi now and Norgard, right? So these guys are more established players as opposed to Chelsea buying 18-year-olds from Brazil.
So Chelsea are using, or they see this as a business, no, right? They're getting the Brazilian kid that you spoke about, and they're selling Noni Madueke. Madueke's done well for you guys, so he'll obviously command a higher transfer fee. Arsenal is very interesting because I think the Chelsea project and the Arsenal project are in two different, I would say, stages.
Phases.
Yeah, I don't want to use the phase.
Phases.
Yeah, which phase is Arteta in? So Chelsea is still building the side, right? It's still building something for Enzo Maresca to build with and then to progress. Obviously, you need to be consistently in the Champions League, then win something, then you go for the championships. Whereas Arsenal, there's always been this talk about them taking the next step and not getting the right players in. So getting those established finished products is obviously gonna take them to the next step. Like a Zubimendi obviously will do well for them. This talk about Victor Gyökeres finally joining them, although I'm a little skeptical about how he will perform. Kepa as a backup is a pretty decent option. He's done really well at Bournemouth. So they and I think they've signed another centre back or something, Arsenal, or maybe they're linked with another centre back or defender.
Yeah, Mosquera, yeah, from
Yeah,
Valencia.
so I think Arteta's going to play seven centre backs, two DMs, and then Madueke as the forward or something next season. But I think that's actually what's happening. Chelsea are still a project. You achieved what you wanted to achieve. That's reach the Champions League, and you guys are doing really well in the Club World Cup. But then to take the next step, you need to be consistently in the Champions League. And then I think having so much good talent, you will obviously come up with a good side. Like now you've got established Premier League players, like you've got João Pedro, who's really, really, really good. Gittens can become good. Uh, Cole Palmer's obviously very good. So it'll be interesting to see what Chelsea do. Because I want to see what is the step that you guys will take this season. Last season was obviously the first season for Maresca. There's a little bit of less pressure on him, I would say. But this season obviously has to be top four and I don't know, maybe a good cup run. So,
Yep, yep.
oh yeah, you guys won a
Absolutely.
cup, right? You guys won the baby this thing, no?
Yeah, we won the Conference League.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the League Two European Championship. So maybe something else can come your way this season, and yeah, then we'll see what happens with him. But I think you guys are playing for different things. Arsenal and Chelsea can't be compared, right? I don't think that's fair, despite all the
yeah.
spending that you guys have done.
I think the first step is going to be getting a front of shirt sponsor. I think we still don't have one.
Why don't you
That is
chip
our
in,
phase
man?
zero.
They might put your photo over there if you pay something. Like I don't think anyone is
That'd be
coming.
good. Yeah, the space would look good on a Chelsea jersey. Anyways, I think that's basically all we had to discuss. A couple of very interesting things. Let us know what you think about Estevao joining us. Let us know what you think about Madueke leaving. Do you think it's going to come back to bite Chelsea? And of course, as usual, like, share, and subscribe, and of course, comment. Right? And with that, we'll end. Hopefully, Chelsea wins the next semi-finals against Fluminense, and we can talk about Chelsea in the Club World Cup final next week. So have a good one, and see you again soon. Bye bye.
Yo, bye bye.